the alarming amendments offered by the Biden administration to the WHO's international health regulations would grant new unilateral authority to WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus to declare a public health crisis in the United States or any other sovereign nation without any consultation with the US or any other WHO member. Specifically, he said, the Biden amendments would strike out the current regulation that requires the WHO to consult with and attempt to obtain verification from the state party, that is the nation, in whose territory the event is allegedly occurring, unquote. In other words, we're one of the 194 members. We would have no role in responding to an infectious disease that would be decided by a corrupt and complicit UN bureaucracy. Now, thankfully, this World Health Assembly, of which we, Australia, are a member and on the executive board, did not accept the absurd amendments by the Biden administration. This international pandemic treaty has therefore been pushed out into the future. But don't get too excited or be deceived. Time will be used to develop even more diabolical policies which undermine the sovereignty of every one of the 194 members of the WHO. And this is the point. We are, Australia, a member of this outfit. We've been told nothing. The Biden administration proposed 13 amendments in January this year with no notification to the US Congress on the amendments, which would have strengthened the power of the World Health Organization. Was there any reporting to the Australian Parliament about this? Remember, the language around these amendments to the international health regulations would enable the WHO Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, to unilaterally declare a pandemic or a serious health status within any country without providing the country with any chance to respond. The Biden administration was prepared to concede these authorities to the WHO. And I'm saying that on so many of these issues regarding the United Nations and its instruments, we are asleep at the wheel. And it's time we woke up, or we live in a country where external powers tell us what to do. Australia wants to pretend it's an international leader in the fight for democracy. Well, democracy doesn't exist when the Australian nation is denied the right to make decisions affecting its own people. And this highlights the rank incapacity of the Biden administration to lead the free world. Make no mistake, we're in trouble. These amendments would have ceded to the WHO and its Director General their right to identify what constitutes a pandemic. It would then be funded to combat what it believed was, quote, misinformation and, quote unquote, disinformation. It would define how intellectual property would be shared and who would control it. Australia, beware. This has all the hallmarks and earmarks of empowering and funding an unaccountable, unremovable and untransparent massive organisation, the World Health Organization. You could call it a behemoth, a huge, monstrous child of the UN. Where does Australia stand on this? What other schemes have global bureaucrats got in mind to undermine national sovereignty? My understanding is the Biden administration and its allies in Europe and Asia were all on board for these amendments. The countries that stopped it from happening were on the continent of Africa and Brazil. What was Australia's position? This is the WHO, the World Health Organization, and its supporters using the pandemic as an impetus to make these sorts of proposals a reality, an international pandemic treaty. Can someone do some homework in Canberra and tell Australian voters where Australia stands? Or is this another Port of Darwin? Sell our sovereignty to a questionable outfit, the World Health Organization, another United Nations agency eating away at sovereign governments. And they'll keep doing it while we are asleep at the wheel.